Hello, collective. Let's go ahead and connect into our loved ones. If you would like to kind of take a moment, pause the video, ask them to step forward, grab something of theirs, connect with their energy, feel free to do so now. Let's just go ahead and see the advice or messages. We'll kind of just allow them to guide it and see what they have to say. As always, if you're interested in booking a personal with me, the link to that will be in the description box below. This is a collective message, so please take it as it resonates to you and your situation. Let's go ahead and get into it. What does our loved ones have to say? What does my collective loved ones want to say to them? What are messages, advice? Let's go ahead and see. We're going to pull 3 cards. All right, we have check in with your body and release the tension that you are carrying. Take responsibility for your choices. This life is yours to live and own it. No one said this whole life thing was a race. It is okay to slow down. All right, so I'm going to just kind of start this off with more of like a love message from your loved one. I definitely feel like there's a sense where if you are feeling anything emotionally, I want you to kind of give yourself that check-in and really allow yourself to feel those emotions so we can let go of them, okay? Whatever it may be, the anger, the sadness, the guilt, the worry, the stress, the anxiety, I want you to feel the emotion so I can let go of it, all right? And with this, take responsibility for your choices. We all make mistakes. We all have lessons that we need to learn. And I want you to not feel, in a negative way about your choices or your actions or whatever the case might be. It's like you did that, you made the choice to kind of go that direction or to choose that action, and that's okay because that was a part of your lesson. The person next to you might have not chosen that, the person, behind you might have not chosen that, but that's okay because it wasn't their lesson to learn. Now, again, that goes for other people as well, where it's like they can do things or say things or whatever the case might be that you wouldn't because it's not your lesson to learn. And so the validation that I feel that you can kind of give to others, I want you to start kind of giving to yourself, where it's like, I made the mistake, okay? I seen this thing recently and it was like, you can't hold that against me because it's like my testimony. Like I know what I've done. I know what I have said, what I've done, my actions, everything like that. And that's just proof that I'm growing because I wouldn't go back to that situation. And so I do feel like there's a big sense here where your loved one is like, release the worry, release the stress, release what it is that you're holding on to. If this is a setback, right? Because we have this coming forward where there's could be like actions or things that you've done, or it's like you feel like you're not evolving as fast as everyone else, and mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, right? Where it's like, well, everybody else is in a relationship and their relationship worked out perfectly fine, or it's like, everybody's doing this or that around me and I just feel like I am kind of like lagging at the end of the bus, right? No, I don't feel that case for you. I feel like this is where it's like Spirit is telling you, you have your own life and do not try to compare yourself to others. Don't hold, past things against yourself. I feel this was more of a lesson for you to learn. Let's go ahead and pull a piece of advice from your loved ones. And, I do feel like there's a sense here too where it's like, it's okay to take a moment. You don't have to be on go every single second of the day. It's okay to take a moment for yourself. And I love this. Actually, I'm like looking down and it says, remember, you can't change anyone but yourself. And I feel like this is your message where you have done the changing. You've done the growth. You wouldn't go back and make the same mistakes over again. And that in itself shows the amount of growth that you have given or that you've grown. And it's like, don't give that sense of emotion, that power where it's like, well, if I wouldn't have done this, if I wouldn't have done that, but you wouldn't go back and redo that, right? You already learned that lesson and that was a part of your lesson to learn. And it's okay. Give yourself validation in that. You have changed. And I feel too, it's like for some of you, this is like, it's now you've changed, so now it's time to change your surroundings, the people around you. Goes friends, family, romances. It's time to change those things around you because you and yourself have changed in a very good way. All right. We have follow. Yes. I love this. Okay. And remember when I was just talking about slowing down? I feel with this message of slowing down, this is like it's not a race. You don't have to work a job that you don't want to work just because you feel like you have to make ends meet, right? Now, of course, I will not say in this day and age, like to quit your job and, not have anything going at the moment. But what I will say is it's time for you to really start following passions inside of you, whether this be career, whether this be emotionally, mentally, or physically. It's like, don't be afraid to change surrounding situations or things, people around you, because it's like it's time for you to follow your heart, okay? I do feel like there's a sense of intuition. And so for some of my collective, this could be where it's like you've been feeling something very intuitively in some way, shape, or form. And it's like it's time for you to follow that. It's not just a sense of like, oh, what if? It's being placed there for a reason, okay? And I will say, I do feel for some of you, this is where it's like you have a lot to bring to the table. Understand that you deserve to eat too, okay? I feel like you could sit at a table and it's like everybody else is doing things around you, but it's like you deserve to be paid into too. And so for some of you, it is time to change some surroundings for yourself, okay? Let's go ahead and pull some messages directly from your loved ones. Now, I'm just going to say this. I think I always say this, but I am going to say this. If you resonate with what is on the card, please take that as well. But we're just going to kind of see like the messages, whether it be on the card or whether this just kind of be what the meaning is. I want you to take it both ways, okay? We have spiritual gifts, and that to me is coming into that intuition, all right? Now, this is saying that you are very spiritually gifted. Do not discredit it. Okay, you are a very special soul, okay? And when I see this, it's with the spiritual gifts, and then we have this unique soul. You are very special. And I think that sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for that because of certain situations or certain circumstances that have happened in our reality. But you are definitely very gifted, okay? And when I say this doesn't mean that you have to work with tarot or you have to connect in with spirit, like do mediumship, Reiki, things like that, right? I do feel like it's like you have a higher elevation, use it to the full extent or the full power that it's there for. Now, I do want to say you connect in with this loved one or your loved ones, your ancestors, your spirit guides very often, whether you're aware of it or not. And I was just kind of talking about that with this sense of follow that's right here, where I feel that you can feel something very intuitively. And sometimes we question, like, is it intuition or is this, because, right, that goes into worry or stress as well, where it's like, well, what if I don't make it? What if I don't make this? Like, if I'm jumping, what if I miss, right? Whatever the case is. I do feel like there's a sense here where it's like, I want you to pay more attention to that. And sometimes it's like, even picking out a sign between you and your loved ones, or picking out a sign between you and your guides, right? This could be a heart, this could be a butterfly, this could be a number synchronicity, but I definitely feel like there's a sense here where I want you to pick out a sign and really pay attention to it, because Spirit is saying, your loved ones are saying, you are way more connected than what you give yourself credit for. You've always been smarter or much more aware beyond your years, okay? And then we have heaven and hell. And with this card, this is saying that heaven and hell exists here in the physical, but also in the non-physical. And it's not necessarily a place, but this is more of a state of being, a frequency of vibration, right? And I do feel like when we are focused in on the worry, the stress, the anxiety, that's the lower vibration. I don't want you in the lower vibration. Allow that emotion to pass through you. Feel that emotion. If there is a sense of sadness, give yourself that moment to feel it so I can release it, okay? It's not meant to be held on to any longer. Now, I think when we go through trauma, we go through things that have happened to us, things that seem like it's not fair. That's easier said than done, to let it go, right? But I really want you to ask them to step in and to help you let go of this energy, because it's like, this is not meant to control you any longer. And there's certain things for some of you that has happened, and it's like, it's not fair that you weren't through this situation. It's not fair that this person treated you this way or did that to you or left you in the cold. It's not fair. However, don't allow that to control your future, because there are so many great things meant for you out there, and it's like, you're not meant to resonate in this lower energy. You've always been of a higher frequency. Don't be afraid to kind of step out of there, right? But when we've been knocked down and knocked into that lower vibration, it's really hard to step out of there. And I don't feel like you're a low vibration soul, but I do feel like there's like emotionally or physically, you've gone through some stuff and it's like, I need help breaking out of there. Okay. And your loved one is like, let me help you with this disguised soulmate coming forward. Okay. There are people on this path that you kind of connected into. All right. And for some of you, they're kind of crappy people. They're not the best of people. This could be friends, this could be family, this could be romances. They're not the best of people, but you are a teacher. And I always say this to everybody when I come into this like sense of teacher, lesson learner. The teacher, 99% of the time, ends up with more damage than the person receiving the lesson. Why? Because you're going through that, and a lot of the time being the teacher is way harder than receiving the lesson. And now the lesson might not be received to the person that you were teaching it to within this lifetime. It might be as they're crossing over, they become very aware of, what they put you through or what they did or the lesson that you were teaching them. And with this, it's like you agreed before we even came into this lifetime to kind of be able to give that lesson, to be the teacher of that. Now, with that being said, it doesn't mean that it's fair, but it's your soul was the only soul that was able to teach that in this lifetime, right? Your spiritual family, you were evolved enough. And that kind of goes into this as well, where it's like you are so much more gifted than what you're giving yourself credit for. Now, I think that's easier heard than it is to kind of understand, right? But I do feel like with this coming forward, it's time to kind of like let go of a lot of crap that you've been through. Really allow yourself to feel that emotion and release it, because it's just, I want you to think of like a backpack, and you have this backpack on, and it's like all of these rocks are sitting inside this bag, and they're placed there by other people. You didn't decide to pick up these rocks. Somebody else put them in your bag, and now I'm carrying them around. As soon as you decide, hey, I'm not carrying this rock anymore, and you kind of throw it out, the load gets lighter. Does that make sense to you guys? Let's go ahead and pull some cards. You are a very special soul too, just with this coming forward. I want to very validate that, where it's like you are very special, and I want you to give yourself credit for that. If you want to change your circumstances, like when I say this, I feel like you and yourself have changed, but it's like the people around you, the love that you receive, the job that you have, you are very much capable of doing so. It might sound hard at this moment, but you are so gifted, where it's like if you really start to focus on it and work towards it energetically, mentally, and physically, you're going to get there. Let's go ahead and pull some tarot. We're going to pull 4 tarot cards. Let's just kind of see some messages or advice or physical things. Let's go ahead and pull 4 cards for my collective. Okay, this King of Wands wanted to fly out as soon as I picked up the deck, and I feel like this is really stepping into your leadership, not focusing in on male or female, but when I see this, it's like you're very focused in on how strong or capable, or it's like there's a sense of trust, okay? And I feel like this more goes in within yourself. Now we have this 3 of Wands, and this could also be, right, you could be a fire sign. However, with this coming forward, I feel like it's like you having some ideas or planning or kind of viewing ahead in some situation or another, where it's like you, and there's no need to wait. Okay, I'm going to say that too, where it's like you're kind of waiting on some things to bypass, or you're waiting to heal some things. And I feel like it's time for you to take the lead when it comes into that situation, or it kind of take the lead, because I feel like this could be where it's like I'm viewing a situation, this is kind of my goals, this is my ideas. It's time for you to put that into action. With this King of Wands here, I want you to take leadership, and when it comes into this situation, okay? I am letting go of my past and I'm accepting my future. I'm not waiting on X, Y, or Z to happen. I'm going to make X, Y, or Z happen. And I feel with this coming forward, it's like, don't discredit yourself from some magic that is possible to be sprinkled upon your path. I feel like it's like good fortune and good luck is on your side. And here we have with this 3 of Cups, like that sense of celebration, that sense of excitement, where it's like you are going to be able to complete what it is that you're asking for. And this again goes different for everybody, where it's either mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, and it could be all of the above. But I do feel like there's a big sense where spirit's like, take the lead in this. And sometimes when we've been knocked down and we've been knocked out of that sense of higher vibration, and again, none of you are in low vibration. I want to make that very clear. But sometimes when we go through something, it can make us feel in a certain way, right? And I feel like that kind of puts you in a box, and it's like, okay, well, I'm waiting for certain things to change. But it's like, if you start to put your foot forward and we start to kind of walk forward, the path will be there. Even if it's like, I'm waiting for those steps or those stones to kind of be placed. No. As soon as you start walking, they will be placed. Spirit will place them for you. Your loved ones will place them for you. It's time for you to listen to the sense of intuition that you have. And for some of you, I'm just going to place this out there. For some of you, this is relocating, okay? This is like, I'm physically like relocating. I'm moving somewhere else. And it's like you're finally aligning with people that are very much like you, okay? But I do feel whether you are male or female, it is time for you to become very dominant in your wants, your needs, your desires. And I like really standing strong in that with this King of Wands. Like, I'm taking my steps forward. I'm taking leadership in this situation, all right? I hope you all enjoyed your message. I am sending you lots of love and light. Take care.